Respected audience, in our previous sessions, we have discussed different aspects of an enactment which is known as ZARA Act 2020. That is basically Zainab Alert, Response and Recovery Act 2020. This act is promulgated in Pakistan right after the incident which took place in Kasur, and a minor girl aged 8 years of age was murdered. So keeping in view that background, this promulgation was made in Pakistan. इस सारी डिस्कशन में हम बेसिकली चीज़ों को एट लेंथ देख रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान में इस कानून के बनने के बाद इंटरप्रिटेशन एंड कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ स्टैट्यूट्स के हवाले से अब तक क्या डेवलपमेंट है. इस हवाले से फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू शेयर अ रेलेवेंट सेक्शन, बिकॉज जो मोस्ट पिविटल एरिया है वो ये है कि इस अक्रंस के बाद FIR का लॉन्च होना और लॉ इन्फोर्समेंट एजेंसीज का मोबिलाइज होना in order to recover and in order to respond quickly. That is the key area, that is the most important area. और उसमें क्रिमिनल सिस्टम जो है वो ऑपरेट ही तब होता है that comes into action once an FIR is lodged. So keeping in view that very fact, this is very important कि इस कानून में लॉजिंग ऑफ एन FIR के हवाले से क्या डिस्कशन की गई है. That is Section 8 of Zainab Alert, Response and Recovery Act 2020. This provides that notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, upon receiving information that a child is missing, the officer in charge of the police station shall reduce the same into writing in the same book and in the same manner as prescribed for a cognizable offence under Section 154 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, and shall be under a duty to cause investigation of the same and recover the missing child, and also ensure that the required information in Schedule A to this Act is made part of the complaint. As a matter of fact, the required information given in Schedule A we have earlier discussed at length, and that in fact contains the features of the minor child. That also covers her or his identification, and that also covers the kind of language he or she speaks, and so on, so forth. Moreover, this is important that upon receiving information, so this is important that the law enforcement agencies should take action immediately without any delay. The response must be very prompt. That is the primary purpose of Section 8. Now, let's move on to the next part. A police officer investigating the case of a missing child shall have the same powers as available to an officer investigating a cognizable offence under the Code of Criminal Procedure, provided that the provisions of this section are intended to supplement the powers, responsibilities, and duties of the police in relation to missing children, and nothing herein shall be deemed to curtail or detract from their powers, responsibilities, and duties in respect of any offence relating thereto as provided under any other law for the time being in force. So precisely speaking, this very Section 8 of ZARA Act 2020 that enhances the powers of the investigation officer, the police officer, because the primary purpose is that the machinery of law should promptly respond in order to safeguard the life of the minor child. Now we proceed to Section 9 that deals with the punishment under this act. Any police officer who does not comply with the provisions of this Section 8 of this act in case of missing or abducted child, or any other public officer who willfully delays or hinders in providing or processing the information in accordance with provisions under this act, shall be punished with imprisonment of either description not less than 1 year and up to 2 years, and a fine of not less than 50,000 and up to rupees 100,000 shall be imposed. So as a matter of fact, there is a penal consequences for any dereliction of duty, for any inaction on the part of the police or any other responsible officer. as we discussed section 8, which deals with the lodging of an FIR. Now we will move on to section 9, which deals with the punishment under this act. We have discussed this as well. Now we will move on to the next section, that is section 15, which deals with the completion of trial. As I said earlier, that right after the procurement of information, this is the duty of the police to promptly lodge the FIR, and once the investigation is completed, it is already provided in section 173 CRPC that the challan shall be submitted to the relevant magistrate. In this case, as per the offense, if it is the sessions case or if it is the trialable case by the magistrate, accordingly, this is the requirement of this law that promptly investigation should be accomplished and challan to the court of competent jurisdiction is submitted. Now, regarding challan, actually, if we read out section 15, it provides that notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, offences against children under the age of 18, including but not limited to section 292A, section 292B, section 328, section 328A, section 361, section 362, section 364, section 364A, section 365, section 366A, and section 369, section 369A, section 372, section 373, section 375, and section 377, along with section 377A of the Pakistan Penal Code, shall be tried by magistrates and judges as the case may be, specifically designated for such purpose for the sessions by the sessions judge of the district concerned, and all such trials shall be concluded in not more than 3 months, provided that nothing herein shall affect the trial of any offence being conducted or to be conducted by the anti-terrorism courts established under ATA Act 1997. So this, in fact, all discussion has made one thing abundantly clear, that the intention of the legislature is that right from the lodging of an FIR to the conclusion of investigation and subsequently for the commencement and conclusion of trial, this must be borne in mind that the actions must be taken promptly and it must be ensured that the culprit should be taken to the task. Now we move on to the vital aspect in terms of lodging of an FIR, in terms of the role of police, and in terms of their inaction or dereliction of duty. In this connection, we already know that under section 22A and B, powers are delegated to the learned session judges and additional session judges to act as ex officio justice of peace. Now, in this regard, keeping in view ZARA Act 2020, the role of justice of peace is very important. In next discussion, we will discuss different aspects pertaining to the role of a session judge performing his duties as justice of peace while empowered under section 22A and B CRPC. Thank you very much.